It's time for a Drunk Talk TV Music Industry News Desk Report.
Strap yourself in for where prohibited batteries not included, not available in state of shock.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Drum Talk TV News Desk Report. Today, September 19th, 2025. And this time, I'm co-hosting with our guest, Jason Gianni. How's it been going, Jason?
Good. Everything's great. Good to see everybody again. And I'm very happy to be back and love doing stuff with Drum Talk TV always.
Nice. Yeah, so it'll be us for this one, Steven Shinder, Jason Gianni. You can see our names. And what's been new with you, Jason? Or what have you been up to, and where can people find anything that you're up to?
Oh, boy. God. Things have been really great. I'm on the road quite a bit with a lot of different artists. Probably best to find me still just on Instagram or Facebook at my name. But things have been great. I was just in Colorado. I was in Rochester, New York. I have a show up in Wisconsin coming up soon with Rock of Ages band from New York City. I have to admit I wasn't prepared. I should have had my calendar in front of me because I'm drawing a blank right now. But I have the weekend. I have the weekend off, which is good. That's all I know.
No, yeah, I totally get that. I'm involved in a bunch of things. So whenever people, whenever I'm just hanging out with friends and they ask me, hey, so what have you been up to? I draw a blank because I'm like, what have I been up to? And like, I don't remember what I did the weekend before, even though I didn't do anything crazy. It's just like so much happens, and it's, you know how it is.
Yeah, weekend before, I don't remember what I did this morning. Are you kidding me? One thing I will say, and it's a pretty big drum event. I don't know if it's on the list here, but there is going to be a celebration on Sunday at the Cutting Room in New York City from 2 to 5 p.m. to honor Dom Famularo. And I will be there. Nice. I'll be there a little bit later. Oh, so it's 12 to 5. Sorry. I'll be there 2 to 5, 12 to 5. I think it's 12 to 5. I'll be there a little bit later in the afternoon as I have a small performance before that. But it's going to be a big drum event. A lot of East Coast guys there. I know a lot of people are flying in for that as well. So there's very limited tickets left. So buy those tickets if you're interested in coming.
So that's on Sunday, September 21st?
What's today's date? 19th? Yep, Sunday, September 21st. Cutting Room on 32nd Ave in 32nd Street in New York City, Manhattan.
All right. And yeah, I've seen, video of my dad, Dan, talking with Dom, and he seemed like he was such a nice guy. Yeah.
Dom was a beacon of light. Let's put it that way. Had an incredible personality. Brought so much to the drum industry. I studied with him when I was younger. Became very friendly with him. I was lucky enough to do the La Rioja Drum Festival with him hosting and me performing back in 2015, 16. And he was just great, and this was amazing. It's just so sad to see him go, and we've lost a lot of people, which will be on the list coming up, and it's been a kind of a sad couple months.
Yeah, for sure. So, but in honor of you being here, we do have the Jason Gianni discount code for the Drum Talk TV Brilliance Premium membership over on our membership site, which will give people 6 months of that premium level for free. Just go to drumtalktvbrilliance.com and select the premium sign-up option. Then use the code DTTVBJason, and that's in all caps, at checkout. Premium members get access to our past Q&As and virtual concerts. We've had Rudy Sarzo, Oliver Wakeman, and recently we had Roger Earl. We've had Bobby Rondinelli, like all sorts of people. So people can check out the Q&A archives as premium members. And again, the code is DTTVBJason in all caps. And it expires Sunday, September 28th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific U.S. time. And so with that, with that, we'll go into our next segment.
Now it's time for
Right. So I have an icebreaker question I could ask, but first, do you have one that you'd like to ask? If not, I could just ask mine.
You go first.
Okay. So, would you say is the most memorable music festival event you've been to, if any?
Actually, one I played, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
nice.
I was touring. I don't know how many progressive rock fans are out there, but I was touring with the Neil Morse band. Neil Morse from Spock's Beard and Transatlantic, subbing for Mike Portnoy back in 2013, 14, 15, about then. And we were asked to play a music festival called the Iso Sijoto Festival in Keru, Finland, which is about 3 hours north of Helsinki. Drove up there. It was set in like a beautiful, it was like a lake setting. It was on a lake, and a huge tent. And we didn't know how many people were going to be there because it was just so far out from Helsinki. Well, it turns out people flew in from Stockholm and Oslo and all these different Scandinavian areas. And there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. And it was not only an amazing show, and an amazing turnout. But later that night, the local Finnish people showed us how to properly take a sauna. Would you like to take a sauna? And if you know anything about Finland and the Scandinavian countries, saunas were invented there, but it wasn't like the same sauna you see in a gym. It's a cabin, like, you know, with the coals and the heat and everything, but they're all set on a lake. And what you do is you're supposed to stay in the sauna till you can't handle it anymore, sweat, 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 and run into the lake and immediately, you know, cool off, and then run back into the sauna. And it's a nightly event for these people. And they do it for hours. And we did it, and it was not only amazing, but because of the white nights and the sun being up all night, it was in summer. Every time we went out to the lake, we enjoyed this clear, beautiful orange sunset for like 4 hours. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my entire life. I will never, ever forget it. It was incredible.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, my answer, I don't know if it's quite as exciting as that whole description you gave, but and part of it is also that, you know, I kind of think to myself, what qualifies as a music festival? Because I've been to a concert that had 4 bands back to back, and that kind of felt like a music festival to me anyway. You know, the Royal Affair tour where you had like Carl Palmer's band, and then John Lodge of the Moody Blues, and then Asia and Yes. But I think one event that I went to that I know for sure it was billed as a music festival was this concert in Pershing Square in Los Angeles near me. And it was like this 80s music festival type event last year, like summer of last year. And, you know, apparently it was an all-day thing, but when I got there, I got to see When in Rome, at least one of the different incarnations of that band, and then Asia featuring John Payne right after. And it's definitely a different vibe in terms of the audience, because it feels like you have maybe more casual music fans, and, you know, also kind of, you know, on the grass and they're like dancing around. Whereas if I go to a specific concert for a specific band, you know, and it's not like a festival, I kind of feel like the audience might feel like they could range from casual to super knowledgeable about the band. So yeah, it was a little bit of a different vibe, I guess.
You know, I'm not one to go to a lot of festivals. I used to enjoy going to concerts where, you know, 2 of my favorite bands were playing. Like somebody was touring with, you know, like, I don't know, Dream Theater was touring with Deep Purple or something like that, or you know, things like that. But to do one of those all-day fests for me was not overly enticing. So I actually don't have a lot of experience going to like a Lollapalooza or anything like that. And I like to hear about what people went through. But then when I hear about all the mudslinging and that kind of thing, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I stayed home.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm only like almost 31, but the idea of being at a music festival all day from like morning to night, it just sounds kind of exhausting to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I want to at least see the bands that I really want to see, you know?
yeah. It could be almost overloaded in a way where there's so many bands. You know, and six of them you don't want to see, and two of them you do, and you're waiting all day long to see those two. You know.
Right.
So
All right.
anyway,
So with that, we'll go on to our next segment.
It's time for This Day in Music History. One out the whole week because we'd be here forever.
All right. So one by one, we'll be going back and forth, telling the audience what happened on this day in music history, September 19th. So beginning with, and folks, remember, you can chime in like at any point in the comments, you know, you can answer the icebreaker from earlier, you know, what's the most memorable music festival you've been to, or you can chime in on any of these other topics we touch on.
sure.
So this day in music, September 19th, 2005, research published by Guinness World Records revealed that Status Quo had more hit singles than any other band in UK chart history. The band had scored 61 chart successes dating from 1968 with Pictures of Matchstick Men to You'll Come Around in 2004. Queen reportedly came in second with 52 hits, and the Rolling Stones and UB40 tied with 51 hits each. Wow. Yeah, among those bands, I kind of would have expected Queen to be on top, but yeah, that's quite a feat there.
I have to go look into more Status Quo stuff because I didn't know they had so many hits like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh. 1993, Pearl Jam released their second studio album, Versus, which set a record for the most copies of an album sold in its first week. It held that record for 5 years, despite the fact that the band declined to produce any music videos for the album's singles. Well, I'm sure they were riding off of 10, which was so massively big, and it really blew up the sales of Versus. I remember when that came out, and there was lines around the corner from it. For me, 10 was a better record, but Versus had some good stuff on it too.
Yeah, Pearl Jam as a band, I need to do a deeper dive on, but I've really enjoyed what I've heard from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was always more of a Alice in Chains, Soundgarden fan with the vocal harmonies and the heavier music, but they certainly made a massive impact on the music business for sure.
Yeah. So 1992, The Shaman started a 4-week run at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Ebenezer Good, which was initially banned by the BBC. The song is one of the most controversial UK chart toppers due to perceived endorsement of recreational drug use. I kind of feel like there are a bunch of songs where you can sort of read into them perhaps suggesting that. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. 20 years before that was White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. So I don't know. I don't know why they would ban something in 1992, but whatever.
Right.
1992 also, Radiohead, one of my favorite bands, filmed the music video for their new single Creep during a show in Oxford, England. During the song's initial release, it was not a chart success. However, when it was re-released in 1993, Creep became a worldwide hit. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Radiohead is a great band. I actually went through their discography maybe 10 years ago or something now, and maybe longer, but yeah, really great.
Yeah, they kind of peaked a little early for me. Like I went absolutely, hog wild over OK Computer. I think it's one of the greatest albums ever made.
Yeah, that's a big one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is so absolutely amazing production-wise, so ahead of its time. And then after that, they started getting into all this sort of like electronica and weird sort of, I respect.
Yeah, I guess I'm more fine with that, maybe.
I just think OK Computer and the Bends had such great, songwriting on it, and then after that, it was like, I don't know, they just started getting all this like experimentation stuff. I was like, they just sort of lost their songwriting touch, but I respect the different opinions.
Yeah, like we all have our different like favorite eras and such.
Sure.
So 1981, the Rolling Stones album Tattoo You started a 9-week run at number 1 on the US chart, making it the band's 9th number one in the US.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Same year, Simon and Garfunkel reunited for a concert in New York City's Central Park. Oh boy, do I remember that. That was all over the East Coast when that happened.
Yeah,
Some claim that, it was huge. Some claim that over 400,000 fans attended, while other estimates put the crowd around 48,000. No, it was definitely more than 48. Oh, you know what? I think there's a zero missing in that. I think it's supposed to be 480,000.
Maybe.
Yeah. It was massive. I mean, the crowd was humongous, and it was Central Park was absolutely filled.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more. Regardless, it's one of the largest live shows of all time at that point, and the performance was recorded for a record and video release. You can see that on YouTube. I've seen many clips of that on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, it's great that they documented that event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in 1970, Diana Ross began a 3-week run at number one on the US singles chart with Ain't No Mountain High Enough. It was the singer's first solo number one since leaving the Supremes at number 6 in the UK. Funny enough, the first time I ever heard that song, it was a cover version that was in that animated movie 20 years ago, Chicken Little, which
that's funny.
A strange place to first experience that song, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, however it gets to your ears is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
My parents were really big into Motown. I talk about it when I do my interviews, and it's one of the things that inspired me early with my musical taste. Anything by Diana Ross and around that time, the Supremes, the Stevie Wonder, of course, and Smokey Robinson, all those individual singers like that was just like it was an earworm for me, like when I was since I was a baby.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, me. 1969, year before, Creedence Clearwater Revival scored their only UK number one single with Bad Moon Rising, or what people have said, Bathroom on the Right. There's a bathroom on the right. Which hit number 2 in the US. Also on this day, the group began a 4-week run at number 1 on the US album chart with Green River.
Nice. And lastly, in 1960, Hank Ballard and the Midnighters had the honor of being the first group with 3 songs on the US Top 100 at the same time with Finger Poppin' Time, Let's Go, Let's Go, Let's Go, and The Twist, which all made the top 30. Ballard refused to perform The Twist on a highly rated TV show, so Chubby Checker picked it up. Checker's version of the song was number 1 with this week in 1960 in the US and made number 14 in the UK in 1962. Yeah, interesting facts. The more you know when it comes to music history.
Well, at that time there were so many crosshairs and dovetailing of like who wrote what song and what version got popular and that sort of thing. Like I was recently doing for the collective, I was doing a history on James Brown, and there are a couple of versions of his songs that were done in like early incantations of the band, or like really weird, like Papa's Got a Brand New Bag sounded like another song, and like it was really, really interesting when you listen back and go, oh yeah, that's the same song but like different lyrics. But then the one we heard got popular for like whatever reason.
Yeah,
very strange.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I Feel Good, I Got. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say sorry before you play that. I Feel Good, I Got You was actually done by a female vocalist in his band.
Okay.
You could actually hear it on YouTube. It's really interesting. It was done like a year or 2 before I Got You, and it was it didn't blow up the way the James Brown version did. So interesting. Anyway, cue our music.
He was in the news at John Talk TV. Yeah.
That was not me on drums.
Right.
So the winners for last month's Ginger Baker Tribute Drumming Challenge will be announced tomorrow, September 20th. Tune in at noon Pacific on Facebook and YouTube. Tune in to see if you won a gift certificate and celebrate the winners with us.
Right. And this month we have the Travis Barker Tribute Drumming Challenge over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. Free members can send in 2 submissions, and premium members can submit as many entries as they'd like. The deadline is September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific US time. So record those videos. And here is a video with the details right now. September 2025, we are holding the Travis Barker Tribute Drumming Challenge over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. Play along to tracks featuring Travis Barker on drums. First, second, and third place winners get music store gift certificates valued at $125, $75, and $50 respectively, as well as a Drum Talk TV shirt, only shipping in the US. First place also gets the chance to be interviewed on Drum Talk TV. Step 1. Choose a track that features Travis Barker on drums. They could be from Blink-182, his solo tracks, Plus 44, Transplant, any official tracks he's played on. Step 2. Video record yourself horizontally as you play along. Step 3. Go to our website where you'll be able to submit it via a submissions form on the challenge page. In order to do this, you will need to be either a free member or a premium member. Free members can submit up to 2 videos. Premium members can submit as many as they like. Judging will be based on accuracy, sound, and fan praise. For the fan praise factor, invite people to comment the word VOTE under your video. Don't miss out on the fun. Join us at drumtalktvbrilliance.com.
Nice. And that's a perfect segue into talking about the membership site. Both Stephen and I have had a lot of experience sort of peering into the development of the membership site, and it is amazing. It has so many great perks for the premium members, including the Drum Talk TV Ambassadors Program. Premium members refer people with a code for them to use at sign up, and your reward is $10 per sign up. Here's Dan to explain it.
Hey everybody, Dan here from Drum Talk TV and Drum Talk TV Brilliance. Hey, how would you like to make bank by being a premium member of Drum Talk TV Brilliance? It's easy. Like, you're a music fan, right? That's why you joined. How many other music fans do you know, right? So what if they got a discount for joining if you referred them and you got $10 for each one you refer? I mean, you'd pretty much have to be a doofus like this to miss out on something like that, right? Because being fellow music fans, we all know fellow music fans. So go ahead, invite your friends with your own code. We'll tell you how in a minute. But that way you can enjoy things like our live stream concerts, our fan Q&As with big artists, producers, and record executives, our twice-a-month game shows, and other fun things in Drum Talk TV Brilliance with your friends while giving them a discounted invitation, and you make bank. So there you go. So follow the link in this post. If you're not already a premium member, become a premium member. And if you are a premium member, you'll get an email real soon to show how to get your own invite code where you can tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends. Tell 20 friends. That's $200. Wait, what? You'd have to be like this to miss out on that. You're not like that, are you? Invite your friends. Let's have some fun together. Healthy escapism away from the nonsense and the drama and the craziness online on social. Join us, Drum Talk TV Brilliance. We're here for the fun of it. Oh, and at any time, you can become a premium member, refer your friends, and make some bank.
Nice. And also on Drum Talk TV Brilliance, earlier this week, we had Roger Earl, drummer of Foghat, for a fan Q&A, which is now available to watch for our premium members over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. He shared some memories regarding the 1975 album Fool for the City, which recently got re-released with some extra tracks of live recordings from that same year. And he also gave an interesting answer in response to being asked about how he became the drummer of the band Savoy Brown after Bill Bruford tried playing with the band.
I like how it's Bill Bruford tried playing with the band. Like he can't do it.
It was a neat conversation, and it's like he's very good humored, and yeah, like his way of describing that period, like it was fun to hear him talk about it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, this past Tuesday, there was a Drum Talk TV Brilliance game show where the theme was music trivia, live albums of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The next music theme game show is Tuesday, September 30th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The theme for that one will be band trios. One of my favorite subjects. Love all the trio bands.
Yeah, and there's a Facebook event. There's an RSVP link on the calendar on the Drum Talk TV Brilliance website, so people go check that out. And on Thursday this week, Dad, I switch between those two so frequently because it's just like a one-letter difference.
Say what you want. We all understand both ways.
Yeah, Dad interviewed Abe Fogle, a drummer who has worked with Rob Thomas, Kool and the Gang, and Casey and the Sunshine Band, just to name a few. Abe provided some very eye-opening anecdotes you will want to check out. And just before this news broadcast, Dad did another episode of Drumming Injury Talk with physical therapist Janice Ying, with the theme being wrists and wrist injuries. So, yeah, that was an interesting watch. Both of those, yeah.
I couldn't. These type of programs need to be promoted more. We used to have a student of mine, Heather, was somebody who specialized in yoga and injuries, drumming injuries, and that sort of thing, and would come in and do a weekly class at the collective on like a Saturday morning, or a Friday morning or something like that. It needs to be more of a topic in our community. People are hurting themselves. A lot of it has to do with posture and approach to the instrument. A previous student of mine, I believe you've had on for an interview, Dave Elich, is somebody who specializes in this type of stuff, and Alexander technique. It's all stuff that really needs to be brought to the surface so we can injure ourselves less.
Yeah, and I mean earlier, I think before this show, you also mentioned to me how, like, in the winter time, there's like some stuff to take into account with joints. So maybe I'll pass that along to Dad and Janice, see if they've covered that already, or maybe they'll want to cover it. I don't know.
I think it's an important thing. I mean, weather in general changes all the way your body behaves, but especially in the north and the northeast, with how cold it gets in the winter, it gets tougher and tougher each year for sure.
Yeah.
So we've had a busy week. We have a busy week ahead of us over at Drum Talk TV. An episode of Under the Influence will air on Tuesday, September 23rd at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hosts Dan Shinder and Lou Caldarolo will talk about the influences that schooled them. On Wednesday, September 24th, Dan and Jeff Berlin will host another episode of Rhythm and Lows at noon Pacific. And on Friday, September 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific, a new Drum Talk TV original series will debut. Dan will be joined by Dr. Eric Sandler and Dr. Michelle Schechter for the first episode of Plugged into Hearing Health, another important thing that we should be talking about. Yes.
Yeah, there's like a lot of health-related things that we sometimes don't really think of when it comes to music, but yeah, it's like a whole thing.
I think we're experiencing. We're becoming more aware of things like hearing loss, as time goes on. It's something that we weren't aware of. And, with like Pete Townsend standing next to a stack of amplifiers for a million years going like this, of course you're going to be deaf, but now we're much more in tune with, the ear molds and also the usage of hearing aids, which, by the way, I use at home, and it makes a really big difference for sure.
Yeah, I think the last time I went to a metal concert or a prog metal concert or something, I think I thought to myself, what, maybe I should start wearing like earplugs or those things that you put in your ears so that you could still hear the music, but without the effect that, just so it's safer.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot stress more the importance of getting a good molded earplug, not just molds for these, but a molded earplug as far as, you know, the filter in it and, you know, what molds to your ear canal and that sort of thing. It makes all the difference in the world.
Right. So over on Yes Shift, which is the yes/prog rock focused podcast that Dad and I do, we talked about some of our followers' top 10 prog rock bands outside of Yes, and reviewed Steve Howe's reissues of his solo albums Portraits of Bob Dylan and Natural Timbre. Apparently there's a couple different pronunciations of that, but that's how I heard him say it, so that's how I'm saying it.
That's probably because he's got an English accent. We say timbre, but
yeah, but people also say timber, so yeah.
timbre.
Yeah. And I hosted another installment of a sub-series we have on ES Shift called Steven's Vinyl Adventures, and I talked about Foghat's album Fool for the City on that one, and Gentle Giant's album Playing the Fool. So, you know, just seemed like a nice little double feature because they both have Fool in the title.
Mm-hmm.
And I also went live with a Yes Shift News Desk edition yesterday, which covered various Yes and Yes member related topics. On Tuesday, September 23rd, noon Pacific, I'll do another Vinyl Adventures episode about Nexus, a 2017 album by Steve Howe and his son, the late Virgil Howe, which, yeah, I have that on CD. I've had it for a while, and with having the second one on vinyl, I was like, you know what? I need to get the first one on vinyl too. It's gonna bother me if I don't have it on vinyl. And then on Thursday, September 25th, noon Pacific, Dad and I will have Derek Schulman on for an interview. He has a new upcoming memoir titled Giant Steps, which was delayed this week to November 14th in the UK and December 2nd in North America due to supply chain issues, but it'll still be a great convo. I've been able to read the book ahead of time, and I'm really enjoying what I've been reading in it. And Derek, for those who don't know, was the lead vocalist of a British pop band Simon Dupree and the Big Sound, and of course of prog rock band Gentle Giant, which he formed with his brothers. And he definitely talks about those bands and beyond.
So Derek, first of all, I'm a diehard Gentle Giant fan, and Derek is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
He's been very instrumental in promoting Stratusfurious, the band that I'm in, which I'll talk about a little bit more down the list.
Oh, great.
And he's a wonderful, terrific guy. And for those who don't know, you should really educate yourself in what Derek has done for the music industry, because he became a massive music executive in the early 90s and signed Pantera and Dream Theater, and I think he even signed like Bare Naked Ladies or something like that. But he is, on top of being one of the most, prolific and amazingly talented musicians, he is so incredible to what he promoted to our ears for so many years.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked to him at least a couple other times. We've had him for a Q&A. We had him for a Yes Shift episode, I think maybe a year and a half ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's a really great guy. And yeah, did a lot for the music industry, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
All right. So now we'll go on to this next segment, taking a moment to remember some people.
And now a moment to acknowledge those who have passed.
Akiko Tsuruga, Japanese jazz musician, passed away on September 13th, as confirmed by her husband and jazz trumpeter Joe Magnarelli this week. According to WRTI, she passed away after a short terminal illness. Wow, so young. Born and raised in Osaka, Japan, she began her music training at just 3 years old, developing a wide range of musical experience. Kiko's talent led to vocal support from soul jazz originators like alto saxophonist Lou Donaldson, who featured her in his band for over 15 years. She moved to New York after making crucial connections with notable American jazz artists in Osaka. Akiko made a number of albums with her own groups, mostly recently Beyond Nostalgia, from last year. She was 58 years old. Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's just too soon,
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. So next up, we have Bobby Hart, the songwriter behind the Monkees hits and a key player in the band's multimedia empire, passed away this week. Billboard reported that Hart died in his home in Los Angeles, having been in poor health since breaking his hip last year. Hart teamed up with Tommy Boyce to work on Monkees hits like Last Train to Clarksville and I'm Not Your Steppin' Stone in the mid-1960s. The band's million-selling debut album included 6 Boyce and Hart songs, who were also producers on the album. The pair also released their own albums and appeared in TV sitcoms like I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, and they even campaigned for Robert Kennedy when he ran for president in 1968. He will be remembered for his successful music and television career that intersected with a number of celebrities and artists. He was 86 years old.
Yeah, I grew up a fan of the Monkees, and it was only maybe 10 years ago that I really started researching more on who wrote the songs, and really started to dig into that, who played on the songs, of course, which a lot of it was like the Wrecking Crew, and finding out that like Carole King wrote some songs, and it's really interesting, the lineage of how a lot of those songs came to be. And then there's for anyone who's interested, why am I spacing on his name, from Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan is doing a really great interview series called The Magnificent Ones. I don't know if you've heard of that. And it's a video podcast. And he just interviewed Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. And Mickey just laid it all out, and told everything about the Monkees, on how, they really were just more of a TV program. And it turned into a whole musical thing that came out of it. It's a very interesting story on how it came about, because I was more interested. I watched the TV program, but I was a fan of their music. And it goes to show you start listening to their music and you go, oh, there's this whole backstory. So it's a very interesting story.
Yeah. I think my first time hearing about the Monkees and what the songwriting is when like The Simpsons made a joke about it. Like, it's one of those things, like pop culture is sometimes the gateway into some of these other things,
Funny.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So next up we have music industry news.
Now let's see what's been going on this week in the music industry.
Progstock, which is a New Jersey progressive rock festival, an international festival itself. People come in from all over the world and perform from all over the world. It's coming up on October 9th to October 12th. Here is a commercial about the event. Go.
Experience Progstock, the American Northeast's only international progressive rock festival. From October 9th through October 12th, your favorite progressive rock artists up close and truly personal. This year, you'll experience I.O. Earth and the Orchestra of Sound and Emotion, Pattern-Seeking Animals, Marillion's Steve Hogarth in his first ever U.S. solo appearance, special one-of-a-kind performances by Melanie Mao and Martin Schnella, We Came From Space, Rachel Flowers, Points North, Funhouse Mirrors, Peter Jones of Camel, Discipline, Flaming Row, Dave Bainbridge and Sally Manier, Mike Keneally and Beer for Dolphins, Kate Highnote Trio, The Siberium, and for the first time as Saren Gazer, Saga's Michael Sadler with his son, Saren. Passes to Progstock are going fast and are still on sale now at progstock.com. Get your Progstock 2025 passes right now at progstock.com.
I got to put in my 2 cents here, because Tom and Ann, who run the show, are my very, very close friends. I've worked with them for many years, and it really is one of the best festivals that you can go to. We were talking about music festivals before, but for progressive rock, and it's amazing that it's in my backyard. As a matter of fact, Stratus Furious I have the DVD around here somewhere and I can't find it, so I just printed this out. But this is actually a release that we put out a couple years ago. It's two separate shows from 2019 and 2021. And this here is Joe Denizen, the violinist of Kansas. And there's me. And that was a wonderful 2 years apart DVD that we put together, a live kind of compilation of those two shows. It was great. And man, I'll tell you, some of the best musicians in the world end up playing there. And it's, not as widely known as it should be. So support Prog Stock.
Yeah, Prog Stock, each year I try to, because I don't go out to that area in Jersey, I'm able to tune in to like some of the live stream shows that they're able to do. And even watching it is like, it's just really top-notch quality. Even introduced me to a couple bands I hadn't listened to before. And not too long ago, I think like almost a month ago, Dad and I interviewed Anne Rinaldi and Tom Palmieri about Prog Stock. So yeah, lots of great artists. And it's, it's any event that has a lot of prog, it's just like you're in heaven if you go there.
Tom and Ann are really well schooled, and they do an incredible amount of research. This is not just sort of a put together thing. They work on it all year long.
Yeah.
And guys like Michael Sadler from Saga, who we've worked with, and a lot of the other people put in a lot of their time to say, look, you should get this band, or you should bring these people in. And, like Sally Minear, for instance, is the daughter of Carrie Minear from Gentle Giant. So there's this sort of lineage that has worked down from the guys, from Yes and Pink Floyd and Gentle Giant and everything, and kind of worked through the family and through people they've worked with and play at these events. It's really amazing.
Yeah. So check that out, folks, at progstock.com.
Yep.
The BBC have announced October 2nd as the new air date for the documentary Ozzy Osbourne Coming Home, which was previously scheduled for August 18th, but postponed to honor the family's wishes. Less than a week after that doc airs, a different Ozzy Osbourne documentary titled No Escape From Now will come out October 7th. This past Wednesday, Paramount Plus shared a trailer for that documentary, which sees Ozzy along with friends and family discussing his final years. Man, like they were really lucky that they were able to do that farewell concert just before he left us.
3 weeks or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great that we have these documentaries that, maybe it'll reiterate some stuff that the diehard fans know, but maybe there'll be some things that they don't know,
I really think I was actually having this discussion with my daughter today, and on how, I don't think enough people know like the true, not just impact, but like how much music changed through, those early bands, Sabbath and Zeppelin and Deep Purple and even Hendrix and that kind of thing, but specifically Ozzy. And Howard Stern was playing a previous clip of an Ozzy interview, and he said something really interesting that I was just like, oh, he goes, everybody was making in the late 60s, early 70s, everybody was making music for movies, but nobody was making any music for horror movies. And horror was becoming really big at that time between Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist and those type of movies. He's like, let's start making music for horror movies. And that's how Black Sabbath became Black Sabbath. It was not like they were worshiping the devil or some sort of personal thing. It was just sort of a illustrative thing of what was going on at the time and what they were hearing to, illustrate the movies at the time. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's like a new perspective, because like I guess there are a lot of music of the time when it's like super positive, you could be like, okay, you could put that in just any movie, but if you're intentionally trying to like, let's pretend we're writing for a horror movie, and it's like that's a totally different vibe. And there's been some amazing music for horror movies as well. So it's like, yeah, why not use that as inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the song Black Sabbath, it sounds like it comes out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he described. Frank Sinatra's 1955 classic album "In the Wee Small Hours" will be reissued on vinyl on November 14th to mark its 70th anniversary.
Wow.
Billboard reported that album, which was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1984, has been labeled as Sinatra's melancholy masterpiece. Among the first concept albums, it served as an inspiration for subsequent collections like Linda Ronstadt's What's New from 1983. Sinatra's album was originally issued as two 10-inch LP discs, but also as one 12-inch record LP, one of the first in pop music. The album reached number 2 on the Billboard charts that predated the arrival of Billboard 200. The reissue, part of Blue Note's Tone Poet audiophile vinyl series, was mastered from original analog master tapes and pressed into 180G vinyl at Record Technology Incorporated. Wow, that's all that stuff is so interesting, and you know, it's amazing how like right around that time, 55 was just sort of the groundbreak of so much music changing, you know, between Elvis and, you know, all the New Orleans musicians and Chuck Berry and Little Richard and of course, you know, jazz crossing over into the pop, you know, idiom at that time, not just being in the clubs, but now making, you know, going worldwide and in Carnegie Hall by then and so on and so forth. So it's really amazing how huge everything just became at that time.
Yeah, definitely. The Foo Fighters are preparing for their first live show with their new drummer, Ilan Rubin. Billboard reported that the band made a surprise announcement on September 12th, revealing that they would play an all-ages show at the Fremont Theater in San Luis Obispo, California on September 13th. Rubin joined the band earlier this summer after leaving Nine Inch Nails. Along with the announcement, the Foo Fighters revealed a teaser of a newly recorded track, which fans caught on to quickly. The band has been off the road since last September and is set to return to tour with shows in Indonesia, Singapore, and Japan in early October.
And they bounced back pretty quickly after that whole thing.
Yeah.
The first wave of artists have been announced for the Great Escape Music Festival in 2026. Billboard reported that UK's annual music festival announced that the first 50 artists were announced on Wednesday, including French multi-instrumentalist Max Baby, Irish indie pop musician Annie Dog, Australia's Teenage Jones, and many more. The statement from the festival organizers confirmed that the full list will feature 450 acts. Wow. Talk about a festival that's long for you and I. Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
God. The Great Escape will host its first 50 showcases. Will host its first 50 showcase at venues across East London in November ahead of next year's festival in Brighton, England. A number of the acts announced this week will hit 8 different venues across London. Cool.
Nice. And here's some big news for musical theater nerds. The soundtrack for Wicked for Good, the second installment of the Wicked films featuring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, now has a release date and official track list. According to Billboard, the soundtrack will be released on November 21st, the same day the film is set to hit theaters, and it features 2 original songs. Grande, who plays Glinda, will sing an original titled The Girl in the Bubble, while Erivo, who plays Elphaba, will sing No Place Like Home. The other 9 songs on the tracklist are beloved songs from the Wicked Broadway musical soundtrack, including For Good, which the sequel is named after. That's really cool because, you know, the Wicked musical being divided into 2 films, people were kind of skeptical about it, but having seen the first film, I think they really did a great job. And to add a couple more songs for the second film so that they can, you know, fill it out a bit more, it just makes complete sense, I think. And if they're adding a couple new songs, and I think that makes it all the more special.
You know, my reaction when I saw it, I knew the music ahead of time because I played a lot of I played Broadway, and I played a lot of different Broadway type of events where I've had to play this song at an event and that song at an event. And I've always absolutely loved the music from Wicked, especially the song like Defying Gravity is phenomenal. But my reaction when I saw the show is I was confused. It's a very like deep plot, and it could go on for a long time as far as like the storyline, so separating it into two movies could make sense and clarify the plot even more. And I gotta watch them back to back, so maybe I can understand it a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe they'll do some special screenings where they show the first one and then the new one. So
sure,
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter hit another major career milestone this week, one that she predicted 2 years ago. Billboard reported that on Tuesday, September 16th, the pop icon was announced as one of 3 headliners for Coachella 2026. Carpenter publicly stated her hopes to eventually headline when she last performed at the festival in 2024. Her rise to superstardom was fueled by the release of her huge hit Espresso, released last summer, which propelled her to success with her first ever #1 album on the Billboard 200, was Short and Sweet. Carpenter will close down the main stage on both Fridays of Coachella 2026, taking place the weekends of April 10th through the 12th and 17th through the 19th. Justin Bieber will headline on the 2 Saturdays, while Karol G will take top billing on the Sundays.
Yeah, I know some people who go to Coachella. Maybe even a couple of them go like every year. And again, like what I said earlier about music festivals, I'm like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Like, how do you have all the energy?
It's a lot. I mean, when we were just talking about that London one, it's amazing how they're able to pull that many artists together. And the way they do it is they don't do it just at the festival. They do like 9 different locations and venues around the city, and people are like hopping in trains and Ubers and cabs and stuff like it's crazy.
Yeah. Chappell Roan is also hitting a major career milestone early next year when she will headline the Lane Way Festival in Australia and New Zealand. According to Billboard, the traveling festival will mark the Midwest Princess's first ever national tour down under, which will kick off in Auckland on February 5th, 2026. In January of this year, Roan's hit Good Luck Babe came in at #1 on Triple J's Hottest 100, racking up the greatest number of votes ever for a winning track in the countdown. She also became the first solo female artist to win with a debut and soul entry. Other artists set to perform on the traveling festival circuit include Cavetown, Gigi Perez, Lucy Dacus, Pink Panthers, and just to name a few. Recently I went to a friend's birthday party last weekend, and they did this thing where, we were playing music videos on the TV just back to back. And I'd listened to Chappell Roan's album beforehand, but this was my first time like actually seeing a few of the music videos, and the production quality is like top notch. I was sitting there thinking to myself, wow, music videos have come a long way since like the 80s, when sometimes it would look a little goofy with the effects, and sometimes it would just be I don't know, I just feel like music videos have kind of come a long way.
The production is like it's no different than a movie nowadays. It's incredible, especially with these newer artists that like have this whole image, and the way that it's more than just the music. It's about like the image part of it, and the mystery of the character and all that sort of stuff. So
the storytelling.
Well, now I get to talk about one of my favorite bands, Iron Maiden. Woohoo! They are extending their milestone tour with another round of concerts. Parade reported that the band announced on Tuesday via Facebook that they will extend the Run for Your Lives 50th anniversary tour into 2026, introducing a run of new European dates. The band will begin the next part of their journey on May 23rd with a performance in Athens, Greece, continuing through July 11th, when they will wrap up in the United Kingdom. They added that the end of the tour will feature a special UK headline show, with more details to come. More stops are expected to be announced later, and tickets for the summer 2026 shows will be available September 22nd.
Nice. How long have you been a Maiden fan? Like, what was your entry point?
I'm I'm trying to remember. I was a huge fan of MTV in the early years, and I was a kid,
Right.
so 12 years old, 13 years old. So I would see a lot of their early videos. I would say probably my first favorite record was Somewhere in Time, like 86, that kind of thing. And then it kind of spun out from there, went both early and later. And I just, I just love them. I think they are just, they're such a great balance of like the British new wave of heavy metal, which came out in the early 80s, which was aggressive and crazy and fast, but melodic at the same time, and know how to write
Right.
such a great song,
Yeah. All right. And this last news item before we do the closing reminders. On Wednesday, September 17th, the Joe Perry Project opened for The Who at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles, and they had a surprise in store for fans. Parade reported that the newest incarnation of the group, which already features several A-list artists, invited Aerosmith's Steven Tyler to help Perry and the band perform Aerosmith's Walk This Way. Earlier in the set, Guns N' Roses guitar player Slash joined the Joe Perry Project to cover Aerosmith's Mama Kin. Other members of the Joe Perry Project include Brad Whitford from Aerosmith, Robert DeLeo, formerly of Stone Temple Pilots, Smash Mouth's ex-drummer Jason Sutter, and the Black Crowes vocalist Chris Robinson. Other hits covered include Twice as Hard by the Black Crowes and Vaseline by Stone Temple Pilots.
Cool.
Nice. And with that, let me just get to the correct button.
As a reminder of what's coming up soon on Drum Talk TV.
So submit your entries for the Travis Barker Drumming Challenge on drumtalktvbrilliance.com. All one word, drumtalktvbrilliance.com, for a chance to win a music store gift certificate. Free members can make 2 submissions, and premium members can make unlimited submissions.
And remember to use the code DTTVBJASON at drumtalktvbrilliance.com to get the premium membership for free for 6 months. Get access to our full catalog featuring interviews with big artists, all our fan Q&A sessions, and our live concerts, virtual concerts, and more. Use the code by Sunday, September 28th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific U.S. time. And Jason, thanks for co-hosting this, and also shout out to Shiley for putting this whole list of topics together with really well organized.
Absolutely. Oh, it's my pleasure. This was a real fun conversation. There was a lot of great news stories and that sort of thing. And I hope everybody's good out there, and stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and play us out. Okay, we'll use this.